Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night.
We have a fantastic match tonight, no question about it.
Oh my god, yes!
Put the barrage! Make sure they can't even follow up afterwards.
And Watch has found 2 in this fight thus far. Make that 3, make that 4 right now here. Dynamic team gets a 4-man tire!
Those who find the picks will save the fights, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
100 gets 3! Wins the primal race!
Experience tranquility.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, good evening and welcome to the Overwatch Tranquility Discord tier preseason finals. My name is Warren Jugglegod Hammond, and tonight I am joined on the mic by Thoria Maya. How are you doing?
Hi there, hi everyone. Well, I'm doing well, and I'm looking forward to what this Discord tier preseason finals has to offer to us. A lot of familiar faces on both teams, and by familiar, I mean a lot of them are from different teams last season and now have just coalesced into these 2 different teams. So I'm see if they can bring all the sass and, spazazz that they had from their old teams into their new teams.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, seeing how, these different pieces that come from so many different places work together. But, this is gonna be fantastic. We have MI7 going up against Reminiscence, and one little note that I think is really fascinating, Thoria Maya, is that Reminiscence is part of the same org as one of the other 2 preseason finals this season, right? So in the other tiers, already this org is showing that they are top notch. So I've got my eyes on them tonight. Are they gonna pull off the hat trick?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people are expecting. I think, they're all from the same organization as the 2 other teams that played this week. And something to note is that all 3 of these teams took a break from Tranquility from last season. So none of these teams played last season. And the last time they were here was in Season 7 of Overwatch Tranquility. And back then, both Reminiscence and Flashbacks ultimately won, their respective tiers. So I wonder if they're showing this preseason is, foreshadowing of what is to come for this season of Tranquility.
Right. I mean, this org certainly has put a target on their own backs, having won, the other 2 finals already. So if they manage to snag this 3rd, everybody's going to be gunning for them. They are absolutely going to be the org to beat coming up this season. So yeah, I'll be curious to see as the season progresses if this is any kind of an indicator of how things are going to go.
Oh, definitely. But I think that MI7, they're going up against a familiar name, very established name brand, and MI7 may sound new, but they do have 4 players from previous teams. I know B-Ballman used to be on Quaka Queens, and they went very far, at least in terms of, I think, last season of Tranquility. So I'm thinking, they'll put up a fight for this preseason finals. Now, how much of a fight it would it be enough to topple a, established brand, I guess, in Tranquility is a whole other question. But I like my upsets. I don't know if you like your upsets, Juggle God, but I do like my upsets.
Oh, absolutely. I love to see it. I think it's such a great story when you see it happen, and it's, anything surprising is great, catches my attention. So, it's will remain to be seen, though. It's almost as if it feels like this org that Reminiscence is from. They're coming out to be like the anime villain, right? Of Tranquility, right? If they end up taking this, I think they certainly will be that moving forward. So Yeah, let's see what both these teams are gonna bring us tonight. I really can't wait. This is gonna be exciting. Also, it's great to be back in Tranquility. I haven't been here for far too long, so it's just good to be back. So feels good. Feels good.
Well, welcome back to Tranquility.
Thank you.
I've only officially started casting last season, so
Mhm.
it's just my second run at all of this. So
Oh,
we'll
awesome.
we'll see how this goes.
Oh, it's gonna go great. I mean, you've already got a third casting partner with you, by the way.
I know.
Can you introduce us to who this is? Can you tell us?
Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, I have Luna, the author. She's like my unofficial child. With I actually share her. She's actually like I share her with Zeno. I think you know who Zeno is.
Oh
Joey.
yeah, I know Zeno.
there you
Absolutely,
go.
I know Zeno very well.
But we are now entering though our first map of the day, which happens to be Busan.
Yeah, we are going to be headed to Busan. So, Brawl going to be on the menu. Dive going to be on the menu. It really depends on which sub map we head to first today. So, this is going to be a chance for us to. It's going to be a smorgasbord, right, of comps that we potentially get to see. So, we're going to get an idea of what we're going to see throughout the rest of this matchup between these two teams, just from this one first map.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think that's what I like about Busan as a map is that it offers like a diverse set of compositions that you could run on the board. So, it's a great first look of like, hey, is this team good at Brawl? Is this team good at Dive? Is this team good at 6-man? There's a lot of things you could just see from this first map. And already out of the gate, you see MI7 going for this established, I guess, ball comp that we're sure of. Now, Reminiscence, on the other hand, maybe going for a more Brawl double shield, maybe expecting this ball comp or dive setup.
Yeah, this is it's gonna be interesting to see how both of these teams come up against each other. We've got Ballman is already taking control over the cinema right there. Has to back off though just a little bit, looking for an opportunity to disrupt this composition that is now from Reminiscence that is really bunkered up right over this entrance. So they're going to have to make a move, though, soon, and that's when we're going to see MI7 strike during this rotation.
Yeah, you see that MI7 opting to take the point right away, right? Because Reminiscence decides to play the bunker setup because that's how their comp is designed.
Exactly. So we're going to see now, once the bunker has gotten set up a little bit, how effective they're going to be. Ballman goes down very, very low, but it's going to be actually Laurer who drops first. Reminiscence now threatening to take over the point. They've got both DPS out of the mix. It's just a matter of time now as Reminiscence, even though they didn't cap first, they will win the first fight.
Yeah, these are just a few staggers on the side of MI7, and Reminiscence does get it back. So the thing how Reminiscence does, manages to do this is just like big utilization of the pulls, right? And everyone I guess looking at where the pulls are headed, because I've noticed people are getting picked off around the same area. Really good target focus, especially for a spam composition. And I'm not sure if MI7 is ready for the fact that Sarah has high noon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they're especially not going to be ready now that Rock is out of the mix, because they could have at least tried to scare away that Cassidy with a Discord orb or something, but they're just going to have to wait. Although, now that Glitch is out of the equation, this could be the time for MI7 to strike. We see D.Va diving in now pretty aggressively, seeing if they can keep that Torb at bay. Sarith, though, on point, still threatening with that Deadeye, but are they going to need it? Are they going to use it? It does come out in the end, but Ballman is able to get the pick onto him before he's able to get it out the gate. So now this fight starting to look like it might go the way of MI7, but they need to clean this up quickly. It's taken so long for them to win this fight when realistically it was won several seconds ago.
Yeah, I think Reminiscence just had people at different angles, right? This is something you'd also expect from a usual double shield comp. You get value from having different angles. But, both teams committed a lot of ults in this fight just to keep it. Reminiscence only coming in with that window, right? And they will need to pop this just so that everyone else could get their ult. Now, MI7, on the other hand, does have these mines and dragons, and knowing they want a bunker, they'll probably dragon.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely do. Glitch puts down the immortality field, but it's not going to be enough to save his life. Ballman layers in those minefields as well, and that is a quick fight win for MI7.
quick fight win, and now I just realized that Laura actually swapped to the Soldier 76 at some point during the last fight. So these MI7 really making these crucial swaps to deal with the bunker style double shield that Reminiscence has, right? They were initially running a Tracer Sombra, really doesn't do a lot of poke. Now that, you know, they've switched to a Hanzo Soldier, they can go through the shield break even better and even more consistently. Now there's a Diva Bomb on board, so it would be great if MI7 get all these shields down, maybe to get this bomb to go in. Either that or force out resources with this visor from Laura.
We are going to see that immortality field come out already. The self-destruct does catch a glitch, and members of Reminiscence just falling like flies at the moment. They can't seem to hang on for life, and MI7 cruising to a victory on this map. They just have a few staggers, but I don't think anybody even touches.
Yeah, I think Sarif was trying to touch there in the end. Got, you know, busy with having to deal with Ascend, and ultimately B-Ball Man just cleans it up, right? The person who was supposed to touch the point last minute. But great showing from MI7, understanding how they want their ball composition to play against this very strong bunker from Reminiscence. Now we're going to Mecha Base, and normally people would run, I guess, a brawl comp on Mecha Base, but we have seen some teams run, you know, a ball comp on Mecha Base, and I think that's what Reminiscence is going for this time around, while MI7 sticking to your standard brawl setup. So, but no Mei on the board. I think there's this maybe expectation that Reminiscence isn't going to be running a brawl comp.
Yeah, that's this is very interesting. It's also, I think, going to be a lot of the glitch to get a tremendous amount of value with those Discord Sword, because once MI7 closes the distance, Reminiscence is going to be in a very, very bad place. Right? They want to maintain their distance. They want to stay away. But Blood Hungry going in immediately gets a slam, procs a lot of those adaptive shields as well. Able to get out without giving any ult charge to the to MI7 as well. Ascend already down, so that's going to make things difficult for them. But they're going to swap over to the Sombra as well to help deal with Blood Hungry on the ball.
I mean, I think that's a very important swap. Oh no. I was gonna say, I was worried for Blood Hungry there, but I still get back up, right?
Yeah.
I think the Sombra swap is very crucial. It stops the engages of Reminiscence, which really comes from the ball, trying to cause that slam and chaos.
Absolutely, and now we've got a lot of chaos happening on point as well. Reborn looking for an opportunity to jump into the fray with this pulse bomb. They've almost procced it. It has come to fruition now, but they're getting chased pretty heavily by Ascend, so they have to back out. Blood Hungry's out of the mix as well. The point has gone over to MI7. They're just able to brawl it out longer, keep that health online. Nice fire strike from B-Ball Man as well. Wow.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Everyone clumped up around B-Ball Man right there. That was on his shield.
Yeah, that was. Nice placement there by the Tracer. Worked out pretty well for them. Assassin Bull going to be taken out though by the Bob on point, and Reminiscence finally able to get a little bit of progress here. It's going to be Laura trying to find something with this Deadeye, doesn't, backs off, but still gets killed, and Reminiscence takes their first possession.
Great ult trade from both sides, I think. You have that Bob, great way to stall point, get those last minute picks, but I think Reborn's unexpected 2k pulse kill was, you know, this what sealed the deal for Reminiscence for that fight, right? It takes out your main source of damage, and that, you know, support that helps you disengage. Now you have tried popping the rally, preemptively hoping for, like, preparing this for this incoming engage from MI7. I feel like this Transcendence is too early.
Yeah, it's forced to pop it there because so much damage was coming in, but yeah, now they don't have that, and that is not necessarily a good thing. Choi Su-wan is gonna go ahead and use the Gravitic Flex. They get one kill from it. Try is able to follow up with a pick onto Ascend. The Immortality Field is out from Rocket, but it's not gonna do much good as Reminiscence clears the point.
Reminiscence does clear the point, but at what cost, right? They used, I think, 4 ults in that fight. They'll be coming up with, you know, just 2 DPS ults for the next fight. Now on the side of MI7, I would think they would have kept at least their attempt at a Rhine Shatter, right? But it looks like they're going to attempt a Mirror with Reminiscence, which resets a lot of their ult bank, except I guess for their Sombra, EMP, and Bomb. Now I wouldn't be surprised if there's a really good EMP Bomb combo, and that sounds like what's happening.
Oh, that's absolutely what's coming in, and it is beautiful. A 3K comes in from Assassin Bolt with a little bit of help from Ascend as well. Beautiful retake coming out from MI7.
Yeah, beautiful retake. I honestly thought that it might not have worked because normally you'd want your diva to bomb first and then EMP after because that makes it more unexpected. Gives them less time to actually adjust to like hiding to cover. But somehow it worked, and I'll give them credit for it.
It absolutely did. We're gonna hear Bob committed to this fight early on, but Laura is able to take, or rather Ascend is able to take Sarif out of the fight. Bob's still firing, but they're not gonna do any good. 85% now on the board for Reminiscence. MI7 though coming in to recapture the point. Just one straggler left at the moment. Make that two as Blood Hungry is able to get back onto the point, but they don't have enough shields to survive too long.
Yeah, Reminiscence just has to regroup. Their main source of engagement through Blood Hungry is out of the field. They still have time to take back point. This is probably one fight territory, 1.5, depends how you want to see it. And upcoming to this, you have both ball players having their mines, right? And
right,
I wouldn't be surprised if I see a mines on mines.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's such a great counter to the mines, right? Like, just throw more mines on it. That's how mines work, right?
Yeah.
At least they do in the Overwatch universe. We're going to see a trade coming in, but now we've got a little bit of an advantage for MI7 without a couple of players in the fight. Nobody touches, though, so MI7 going to be able to take the map. Reminiscence almost brought it back, though.
Yeah, Reminiscence almost brought it back. I just think that last roll through from B-Ballman onto the core of Reminiscence, who were planning to touch the point and roll it out, right? Was just well timed. And here is that really good EMP bomb.
Oh yeah, that was just beautiful. And you're right, they threw the EMP out first, but they were in such an awkward position, right? That nobody was able to really get to cover. So, beautiful play coming out there from both of those players. I believe that was Assassin Bolt and Ascend, I think, yeah, on the Sombra there at the end. So first map gonna go the way of MI7, and hey, we could have an upset coming here. Reminiscence, they might not take it. They're down one already. So do you think there was a huge difference between both of them though, given that map?
From the looks of it, I think that they have both teams have an understanding of the compositions that they want to run. I just think that MI7 has, how do I say this? They are quicker to make the necessary DPS swaps. From what I've seen from MI7 is that they'll stick to whatever their tank and support line is for a while, and then if they really need to make changes to counter whatever, Reminiscence is running, they'll just have their DPS swap. You saw that in Busan Downtown when they went from a Tracer Sombra to a Hanzo Soldier, got them massive value right away. There's this great understanding from MI7 when to swap, and I think that's what's giving them some leverage. But I think if Reminiscence can, maybe take some notes from that, knowing when to make those like I call them micro swaps because it's usually just like one or two players who only have to swap. Right. If they just take a lesson from MI7 and do that themselves, I think they can make this really close. I mean, their sister team Flashbacks also lost the first map at start of Tuesday, but came back and got remaining 4 maps. So I think there is a chance. They just really need to make the adjustments that are necessary.
Gotcha. Well, there certainly is plenty of time to do that. We're gonna be headed into our next map relatively soon here. I think we're just waiting on an R from the teams, and let's see here. Is this map that's loaded in production the one that we are going to be headed towards next? Aha, okay, so we're still waiting on the map choice. So we'll get that in just a couple of minutes, but we were cut short right before the beginning of that, or right at the beginning of that. I want to learn more about your friend there with you.
Oh yeah, no, this is Luna the otter. I really love otters. I think that's an established thing in the Tranquility community at some point that like otters are attached to, I guess, like me or my namesake. Right. Just because I really love them. Funny story. I went to a zoo once with like an ex of mine, and I literally left lunch early just so I could see the otter feeding time of like the otters in the zoo. And like my ex was like super cool with it, but it's just like a super funny story. Like that's how much I love otters. Like I'll forego like having like a full lunch. Like I'll eat it quickly and I just go just to look at otters.
Oh, that's great. So you know, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that like otters, they have like a favorite rock, and they've got like a little pocket that they keep it in or something, or like they somehow like hold on to it. And I just thought that was the neatest thing. So that's true.
Yeah, that is true. And like it's usually I think it's like for most otters, but it's more prevalent for like sea otters to have that rock because sea otters usually their form of sustenance are like sea urchins or hard or like shell foods like or like clams and stuff. So like they really need that favorite rock to like open things up also. So like they're actually smart creatures who actually know how to use rocks to open their food.
That is super cool. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad, really happy to learn about Luna, right? I want to make sure I get,
it's Luna.
Learning about Luna, but we are heading into our next game. We are going to be headed to Temple of Anubis. So, lots of double shields on the board here to start things out, and I don't think we're going to see a whole lot different. That's the name of the game in a lot of cases for this map.
Yeah, I think Temple of Anubis, especially on the defense, is like a very standard double shield map, right? But what I'm interested in is Reminiscence. I don't know if this is actually what they're going to be rolling out on for their attack, right? Because normally on a Temple of Anubis attack, you would either see a ball composition or maybe or your usual monkey taking those soft dives, building nano. Or sometimes, you know, very wild Rhine comps where they just keep you to point with a Symmetra. But no, it looks like Reminiscence is running out with this double shield comp. So this is going to be a lot of shield break versus shield break.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very interesting. Speaking of rocks, we had one thrown out just a moment ago. Doesn't quite land, unfortunately, for MI7. They're going to be forced to back out as Reminiscence is able to get some nice positioning in that mega health pack room. So now the shield war starts once again, and right now it doesn't appear to be going significantly one way or the other. That was an airborne assassin bolt for a moment right there, but they are back down on the ground now. Sam trying to back out 2 point, but they were caught out. Reminiscence doing a beautiful job holding that island and getting a distinct advantage. They should be able to take this for their own.
Yeah, you see that at least that Rocket and Laura are still online, hoping to at least get some fix before they have to go down, right? Build ult charge, because really, in their situation, there's only 2 of them left. They might as well build their necessary ults for the next fight, so they have something on the board. Which Laura manages to do, and Rocket's very close to it too. Laura already has Bob. Very good contest to avoid the snowball that Reminiscence might attempt, right? Reminiscence is building up towards that rally, and they already have window also. The rally itself is very huge, right? Asas stays alive and builds up towards to it. That versus the Bob is going to be an interesting interaction, because one's trying to deny the engagement onto point, the other one is there meant to sustain. And it's really how they plan to use these ults and where they're going to position.
Yeah, I think Lich is going to probably want to put that window right at the choke there that they are pushing up onto, but it's going to be Lettuce who gets the first pick onto Anguish. So now we hear the push coming in. It's a very aggressive one coming out from MI7. They're going to be rewarded with the fight win as well. Ooh, and a Torp hammer kill, no less.
Oh, I love it. There is a Torp hammer kill today. One for the books. But something interesting I've noticed is that MI7 made a lot of swaps, I think. Lettuce is in for Ascend, right? And Sam is now in for the Ballman. Another thing to note, Reminiscence swapped out Reborn for Anguish. So, both players showing some, you know, bringing already some value to the team. But Reminiscence is coming in with 6 ults, so MI7 really has to engage proactively.
That was a beautiful Gravitic Flux with a pull as well from Sam to just completely wreck Reminiscence's chances of moving through and getting to point even. So, beautiful hold coming out from MI7. They were struggling on that first point, but they so far seem to have this second one locked down.
Yeah, and MI7 being very conservative with the ults that they use, right? They know Reminiscence is building towards this 6 ult combo, and is definitely going to probably jump all of them at the same time. So they do need more ults on the board just to counter everything.
We're going to see a very aggressive push down mid coming out from Reminiscence. We've got 3 ultimates already out and on the board. Anguishes is the first to draw blood. It's going to be Sam out of the equation. Lore pops their Bob as well, but it's going to be Choi Su-wan who gets the Gravitic Flux on the Lore as well. This point is opening wide up for Reminiscence, but they need to hurry up and get these kills. They need to secure this point for their own. Otherwise, just more time is going to be burned off the clock by MI7. Sam has the supercharger out right now. They've gotten a pick as well. Choi Su-wan is out of the fight. Blood Hungry with just a sliver of health as well. They've gotten 2 ticks on the board, but I think MI7 might be able to retake this and hold on at least for a little while longer.
I mean, with Glitch going down already and like being split from Blood Hungry, that lamp really was just meant for her, so for them. So really, I don't think it really helped them that much. So, but honestly, good push from them using all 6 ults, because that means they got those 2 ticks with those 6 ults, right? And really, when tapping second point of any assault map, it really is you have to do it tick by tick, right? Sometimes if you can't snowball it, you really have to do it tick by tick. And Rem is opting for this brawl comp swap, and they get value right away. There is no beat, there is only lamp.
It's going to be Blood Hungry going very aggressive, a little bit in front of his team there. I think that ended up causing them to fall. And in the meantime, the rest of MI7 doing a good job of picking apart Reminiscence. They are able to get a couple of picks, but nothing substantial, nothing that's going to swing the weight of that fight.
I mean, there really is no chance to swing that fight anymore, right? Your Ryan had died so early, your D.Va got out of mech so early. I think both of your Bap and Lucio were also gone so early. So really that had to be a reset. Whatever picks you get there is really just for your own personal ult charge, but it also donates ult charge to the enemy team. So it's both a double-edged sword. Now coming into this, MI7 does have this window and this rally. I'm expecting probably the window to be popped and maybe rally at the start.
That is going to be an early window. Reminiscence trying to push through it, but they take just a little too long, even though they barely took any time at all. And Lettuce gets another hammer kill, this time on Zarif. I don't know who it was last time, but we caught that one on camera.
Oh my gosh. I think the one last time was on Blood Hungry when he was on Orisa.
Oh, you're right. It was. Yeah.
It was Blood Hungry on Orisa. And coming into this next fight, though, MI7 still with a lot of ults, this time 4, up 2 from their previous just rally and window. So they very good utilization of ults. I think that's something I could commend MI7 for. Reminiscence though do have this beat, so it's great for maybe aggressing or sustaining, but this window's also really good.
We're gonna see all of the ults come out for Reminiscence, and it's the Deadeye that lands. Takes 3 out of the fight. We're gonna see Bob committed by Lore. It's gonna be charged away by Blood Hungry. He's got the shield up. Nothing is getting through that. This 3rd tick will be successful with 31 seconds to spare.
You know, great for Reminiscence. They only had 3 ults compared to the 4 ults of MI7, right? Great utilization, and I think great positioning from Sarif from how he got that 3k high noon. I think that's what turned the fight so much for Reminiscence, right? It got 3 people right away. Easily just have to clean up the remaining 3 people. Bob really can't do anything by then. Like, all you can do is stall point, lessen time, because ideally, if you're gonna have Bob contest, right, you wish there were less people on Reminiscence by then, right? Or if there were a full team of Reminiscence, you use it when you also have a lot of teammates on the board, right? AKA Bob just becomes that 7th player. But that wasn't really the case, so Bob really was just there to lessen the amount of time. Great job by Reminiscence to retake second point and fully cap it with time left, right? That time is very crucial in 2CP. Just for the sole reason that if MI7 somehow manages to also complete the map with time, Reminiscence still has an opportunity to attack. And that's very crucial rather than, having to just defend it and hope for a draw, right? There is a legitimate chance for them to win this map.
There absolutely is. You have to give a lot of credit as well to MI7 for bleeding so much time off of the clock, because Reminiscence got that first point in their first push. So they're gonna go for a double bubble composition. I am excited to see this. I was excited to get back to casting some Overwatch. First time casting this game in a little while. Was not expecting to see double bubble tonight, but here it is, and I am here for it. So let's go. Let's get it. We're gonna see Sam having to back off though, as they took a lot of damage, but they're gonna be charging up Rocket with that, with those heals. So looking for that nano boost. Here comes Salmon again. Gonna get the bubble proc. Get stunned. Has to fall back. Falls as well. Assassin not quite able to get all of that damage out of the way. Lore caught in a rough spot as well, but they may be able to get an advantageous position behind them. I don't think anyone realizes he was there.
Yeah, no, but I think what's also great value there is that Assassin has is I think around at 80-90 charge, right? Because of that monkey dive. So at some point MI7 can brawl this if they have the resources and the ability to just stay alive, right?
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna see Sam jump in, but gets knocked back. Rocket does commit the nano boost as well. Sam does eventually find Seraph. The immortality field has to be committed. Doesn't save them. Now we've got the primal rage online as well. Anguish tries to slow things down by using the molten core and does that and more. So this is gonna be a reset for MI7, and they spent a lot on that fight.
Oh yeah, they spent a lot on that fight. They spent the monkey primal, they spent the nano, right? And you do see like Letos building up towards this EMP, and you know, for a composition that's really bunkered up together, that EMP is very crucial if you can land it without getting stunned by like 3 of these characters on the board. I think that is the biggest challenge of Letos right now, is that if they're going to pop this EMP, don't get stunned out of it.
Yep. And here it comes. We're going to hear the rally in response. Anguish does take out Lettuce, but they were able to get that EMP online. However, Anguish is just doing a tremendous amount of work. 3K so far in this fight alone. Make it 4. This to 5. Torb is on fire right now.
Yeah, and here you could see that the Torb gets massive value just because of where the location of the turret is, right? In order for the turret to be destroyed, MI7 has to actively go into the firing range or firing area of Reminiscence just to kill it. And that's what Reminiscence wants, right? So MI7 needs to rethink how they want to do this attack and maybe make some compositional swaps, but at the 1 minute mark, that might be a bit too late. Bongo is used to deter them from pushing any further, and MI7 just opt to wait this out, especially now that they have Nano from Rocket, which I wouldn't be surprised either goes to the Genji for a Nano Blade, or, you know, maybe for a Monkey for the re-engage.
Oh my gosh, Reminiscence is doing such a beautiful job of just stalling this team out, stalling MI7 as much as they can. That Molten Core used to do just that as well. We have a trade on board. Reminiscence now down 1, though. They're going to continue to push out. Glitch at a sliver of health as well, but unfortunately they do have Laura out of the fight, who is swapped now over to a Widowmaker as well. Anguish backs up to point. The fight has been taken there. Sam, who still has that primal rage online, getting a lot of value with it. Laura finds a pick, though, coming back in on the Widowmaker, surprising everybody with that. But Blood Hungry and Anguish combined for a couple of quick picks. 16 seconds left on the board, and we've got a Molten Core on point as well. I don't think MI7 is gonna cap this one.
Yeah, no, I don't think they'll be able to cap this unless they have someone to touch. Zetus does touch the point, right? It's trying to keep up the contest for them. Assassin tries to come into touch, doesn't manage to get there in time because of the turret. Easy defense.
Oh, wow.
Now, Windows is, there really isn't a lot now. It's really just stalls, and MI7 really attempting to recontest point to give more time for the team to, I guess, get back onto point and get those picks.
Yeah, overtime is ticking over. That's gonna do it. Reminiscence has tied us at 1 apiece in these finals.
1-1 for both sides, and you know, Reminiscence showing that they can come back from their loss from the last map. So great showing by Reminiscence in terms of how they understood how they want their double shield composition to be played. I think in those situations, maybe like MI7 should have made those swaps away from, I guess, like the dive composition pretty early, or at least earlier, considering like as much as the monkey is a great source for you to get nano is an easy, I guess, ult to win fights with, right? There really isn't anything to deal with the poke damage from the turret, especially at the angle that Anguish had the turret on.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Anguish was just such a huge part of that defense, honestly. I don't think I've seen a Torp get quite that much value in a long time. So, big feather in their cap, I think, for that play tonight, especially on defense. I mean, they even got 2 hammer kills on attack. So, never mind, even a great job on attack. So, beautifully played right there by Torp. So, excellent work, Anguish. But yeah, we're tied at 1 apiece now, and Reminiscence has shown us that they can bring it back. That maybe we're gonna see a repeat of what we saw earlier in the week.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Might be a repeat of what happened earlier this week in the Flashbacks versus Strix game in Harmony tier. But we are going to a new map. We're going to our hybrid map, and MI7, because they had lost the previous map, get to pick, and I think they've opted for Blizzard World this time around, which is, I personally am a Blizzard World fan as like a map, also as a concept really, but
right,
as I would like to see an actual Blizzard World in real life.
Same.
But I think that Blizzard World is such an open map to run different compositions, and I think that's what MI7 wants, right? The ability to be not as rigid in the type of comps that they have to run or the type of heroes that they need to run. I think Temple of Anubis as a map is or 2CP maps in general seem to be very cut and dry. And
right.
What kind of comps you should be running, or like how you should play certain comps in that map. There really isn't much space for versatility, right? And if you're a team that really hones in on like being very good in one type of composition, I think 2CP maps are probably where your strength is, and I think that's what Reminiscence ended up showing to us in the Temple of Anubis map. Their great understanding of how they wanted to play their double shield comp with against the standard dive comps that appear in Temple of Anubis on attack.
That's such an interesting point that I don't think I'd heard made before, Thorium, is the fact that like some of these teams that are really, really strong on one particular composition, they do tend to excel at 2CP. And I think part of that is probably because on 2CP you have to be just almost perfect, right, in order to hold a team, especially on defense, which is really what we saw coming out from Reminiscence. So, that could also be a preview of things to come here on Blizzard World, right? Because double shield composition can be phenomenal on defense as well. So I'm putting money on Reminiscence running that on defense for sure.
At least from what I've heard from the grapevine, I think Reminiscence is very, stuck to playing double shield, right? I think that's the comp the team seems to excel on the most for some reason. I think if I look at the roster of players that are on Reminiscence, a lot of these players have played on teams that really excelled more in double shield.
Right.
So maybe it's just really something that as players they're just really more comfortable with, great understanding of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what they run on their defense, right? And I can already imagine the setup of how they're planning to play it if, MI7 manages to get too close to the point, how they're going to position themselves. They're going to be split from each other. One group is going to be under that tiny shed, probably like a Torb with an Orisa there, and then the other set with the Sigma is going to be on the usual high ground where the Kano is. So that's how some teams would play double shield on this point once the enemy team has pushed towards the point.
I think that's a pretty good bet that you have just made, Thorium. I think you've got a pretty good handle on what this team is going to do, and if they don't do it, maybe they should. We're going to find out. It will be Reminiscence on defense first, so they are showing the double shield. No surprises there at all, but MI7 opting for a brawl composition instead, so a little bit of a departure from what we've seen of them. We saw them play it a little bit on Busan Mecha Base, but not for too terribly long.
Yeah, no, when MI7 saw that Reminiscence was running that ball composition, I think they opted out of playing of playing Brawl into a ball composition. I think the disruption just makes it so much harder for your Baptiste to survive, especially with the slams, because any slam is gonna get your back out of the out of the lamp if he drops it down, right? So Reminiscence opting to just stack first on this high ground, and I'm pretty sure what's gonna end up happening is when they see MI7 running this Brawl and is gonna take the high ground, they're gonna start kiting back to point. Orisa and Tor probably gonna stay on the lower ground. Everyone else gonna stay on the higher ground.
We're going to see MI7 anticipate this as well, and they're going to go for the very, very long rotation towards the back. See if they can push this double shield comp off of the high ground. It's going to be a Lettuce caught in a tough position. They've got the Orisa on the run, though, and it looks as though MI7 has now successfully taken the high ground, but at what cost? Lettuce is out of the fight now. So Reminiscence backs off. They take a different position. It's almost as if they flipped the entire script. They flipped the map completely, and now Reminiscence is forced into a position where they have to retake the point.
Yeah, but that gives ticks for MI7, right? And now that Rocket has built Window because of all that damage, but they lose Laura in the process, but Rocket's putting in the damage for them. They don't need the 2 DPS, they just need their Baptiste to stay alive, right? Great lamp to keep Sam alive through all of that.
Yeah, they've already got 2 ticks on the board. The third is incoming. We see a Gravitic Flux coming in. It's going to be Anguish able to get 1 out of the equation. Choice to 1 combines for another. And oh my gosh, they're able to hold at the last minute. Beautiful plays, hero plays coming out there from Choice to 1 and Anguish.
I think it's just unfortunate. I think they could have survived longer if Rocket had his lamp. But Rocket needed to pop lamp to save Sam that one time, because they were hoping to just win the fight, and if they keep Sam up, that means more shields that Reminiscence has to go through, right? More presence on the point. So it's just unfortunate that Choi had that flux and could use it because Rocket didn't have lamp anymore. Now Glitch pops Window a bit too early, so does it really get much value? It only deters the push of MI7.
And only for a short amount of time. Sam gonna push up there very, very aggressively. They've got the Shatter ready to go, but Reminiscence has the kills already. They're wisely gonna hold on to that. They get an exit pick, though, as well, onto Glitch.
I take the exit pick onto Glitch is something very crucial. Considering that Fungent they do have a Lucio, I think if they just regroup very quickly, I think they can get back to point while Glitch is down. And if that's going to happen, I expect either a Bob to be popped out to stall point, or Bongo to be used to deter the push, or if not, if they want to brawl it, Try is gonna pop Rally. There are 3 options for Reminiscence to stop this push from MI7, and MI7 opts to bomb.
That they do. We're going to see Blood Hungry forced to use the Fortify as well. Stops the Reinhardt charge. Laura does eventually get the tank, though, out of the picture. And now this third tick is almost all the way there. Just 1 player remaining on point. And that will be first point captured for MI7.
MI7 managing to great understanding of how to use an aggressive D.Va bomb play, right? If you're going to aggressive D.Va bomb into the enemy team, you need to aggress with that D.Va bomb. Don't wait for that D.Va bomb to just get picks or like make a massive 3k play. You go in with it, because as the enemy team is trying to disperse and hide from it, it's a great way to use probably other ults to help get the point. And in that case, it was the Blizzard from Lettuce, and then just clean up the window, which was a really good window. Now, Blood Hungry uses Bongo, hoping to rebuild ults because they did make some compositional swaps, but also to deter MI7 from taking high ground.
Oh, and they've already been able to catch out Sam as well. They're in a very difficult position. They get the charge, but not the kill, only damaging Blood Hungry. Glitch was there with the Immortality field as well. And now, this is a beautiful position that Reminiscence is going to be able to hold here.
Yeah, try looking for an exit frag, but probably couldn't find one. Didn't want to risk being too separated from the team, right? And having to go back to spawn. Reminiscence making a very interesting change. Like, try going onto this Lucio. Probably knowing that there is no dive onto the team, picks that Lucio just so that they can disengage quickly. And that's a huge window from Glitch. Manages to get Lettuce right away.
Yeah, and without Lettuce in the fight as well, this is going to be a lot harder for MI7 to push. So given that they're so close to spawn, they wisely wait.
They wisely wait, and they do have 4 ults on the board, right? They might as well use one of them. They should, though, expect this flux from Choi, and I won't be surprised if Funjin uses it to counter it.
Yeah, we see exactly that playing out. That's going to be Laura popping the Deadeye as well. Does find Anguish, which is a huge pick for them considering how effective that player has been this window as well, yielding a lot of results from Rocket. They will be able to pick up the card and get it moving, and practically to second point as well. I'm not sure if we're going to see a contest.
I'm expecting probably this Dragon to like recontest on the point, or like they do have Bob. Oh, Bob gets pushed out of point.
Oh, he gets pushed off.
Oh, that is unfortunate. I saw the play. Like we knew they had Bob online, but that's just really unfortunate. The boop from, I think that was probably from Punjin. Really well played.
Yeah, that it was. We're going to see the Dragons come out now to try and stall things out a little bit. It briefly separates the MI7, the tanks, from some of the rest of their squad, but they're able to regroup pretty well, as Reminiscence really needed to use that time gained to just kind of regroup and back off so that they could be there with their players when they respawn.
I mean, that's true, because they did lose Glitch early on, so like they might as well just regroup. But I think they're now a full 6, and MI7 is a full 6, but MI7 is a full 6 with a bomb and shatter from Sam.
Ooh. Wow, and the bomb will land as well. We're gonna see Assassin jumping into the fray once again. Minute 40 on the clock, and we are very close to completion here in Blizzard World for MI7. We've got the Blizzard online for Lettuce.
Yeah. I was gonna say, if they close out Blizzard World with a Blizzard, I think that would be massive. But there were 2 picks already on the board. You lose your main tank, you lose your main source of heals. I think this is just a reset for MI7. And luckily they didn't use, or no, maybe they did. They did use Window in the process, but Window is one of the ults that's very easy to rebuild, so I don't think it's much of a loss. They still have their Shatter, they've still held on to Blizzard, and honestly, if Choi Soo-won decides to pop Flux onto them, right, at this moment in time, I think that would be a great time for Letos to drop also Blizzard as like maybe a counter ult, because, you know, he can't hands when he's in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be Lettuce taken out of the fight early on, though. Sam has the Shatter ready to go. They're going to need to use it to try and turn this fight around if they want to continue fighting it. A beautiful Dragon Strike from Reborn to get a pair of kills and drive Sam back into enough of an awkward position to get the third.
I really think that both Letos and Sam need to at least use the ults that they've been holding on to at some point, right? I know we have this tendency to wish we get like really flashy plays with a May Blizzard or maybe with a Shatter, but like if you hold on to them for too long, then what's the point, right?
Right.
You really need these values to just get some value, and there is some value.
Yeah, that was a threading of the needle of that Shatter, but it's not going to be enough to get the job done, as Reminiscence gets 2 picks even before that lands. Overtime will expire, and well, the card did make it 106 meters into third point, so pretty tough finish line. Set.
I mean, that is true. It's a pretty tough finish line, but you also have this question of something I've at least noticed with Blizzard World is you either get full held on first, or you manage to finish the map.
Right.
So there is some hope for MI7 if they can put a really solid defense from start to finish, right? We saw Reminiscence almost get that really clean full hold defense, right? It just so happened that maybe ults weren't used in the proper times during that fight. And, you know, also another thing was that MI7 really took to heart just taking it tick by tick, right? They took 2 ticks the first time, and on the last fight, they really just needed 1 tick. So if they could get, you know, Reminiscence off the point, that was great for them to manage to cap first point. So MI7, though, going for a brawl, This is a hybrid. This is a hybrid composition.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
They're expecting a. I think they're expecting this double shield from Reminiscence, just because I think it's really Reminiscence's bread and butter, right? But expecting that, they just needed additional shield breaks, so Letos on the Torb is a really good pick against you know, all the shields that are going to be coming up from Reminiscence. Now, the additional shield from a Sig is actually a good thing, right? You could also block sightlines of the snipers, which I think they're also probably were expecting, and everything else seems to be standard. So it's really, can they keep Sam alive against this whole double shield setup?
Right, I think that's going to be the main question they're going to have to ask themselves, right? Or the main objective is keep Reinhardt alive, right? Because if you can keep that hammer, if you can close that distance, get that hammer swinging, cleave through the enemy team, then you can get a lot of work done, and then just the rest of your team as they're on cleanup duty. We're going to see a rotation coming in from Reminiscence, but Sam is there quickly. Goes down to just a sliver of health. Rocket is there with the immortality field. Heals them back up, and now Lettuce is very low. Sam lets go with a shatter, but it's not going to find anything, and Reminiscence is there to clean up the rest.
Yeah, that was just an unfortunate, I guess, how I would say it's probably like, I have questions on how they wanted to play that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sam has a shatter, could have let it go, but at the same time, you were going to let it go in front of both the tanks of Reminiscence. Like, you were bound, I feel like it was like you were bound to fail since the start.
Yeah.
So I feel like if they had actually forced that other rotation where like they tried to flip, I think it would have gotten more value.
Yeah, that's true. It very easily could have. Speaking of value, Blood Hungry already getting some Reborn, follows them up with another pick, and Reminiscence is just plowing through MI7 at this point.
Yeah, I think this Ryan Sig composition isn't going to work into their favor unless they actually speed in, right? Because if they're not going to use the fact that they have Funjin, right, with them to just speed them in and out, I don't think it's proper use of the Reinhardt gameplay. Now you'll see a Dragons coming in from Reminiscence, so I'm pretty sure they might partner this with this rally. Bob gets popped out early. I was hoping they would use this for card stall instead.
Bob almost got booped onto card. Maybe they actually did. We're gonna see everybody pulled off of it by Sigma, but they get stunned out of it as well. That's gonna be MI7 picking up several kills and maybe even stopping this push in its tracks, but Anguish is still alive and still getting some work done, still getting some damage in, but they do eventually have to back off as nobody else is left alive.
Yeah, Anguish was the only one left after that whole bloodbath, but great use of the Molten Core, but I think Laura gets picked up by Anguish. I think Laura should not have pushed up that much without their team. That's not gonna work in the favor of MI7. But also coming in, they don't really have a lot of ults compared to Reminiscence, right? Let's just pop the window already, though.
Yeah, that window is going to be really useful, though, for building up the rest of these ults. Anguish go ahead and uses Bob. Reborn finds Rocket. Funjin pops the sound barrier as well, is able to boop Blood Hungry away from their shields, but they back off into them really quickly. The immortality field is out as well, and it's just enough time for Anguish to be able to get the kills with Bob.
Yeah, those are just staggered picks. I think Bob got Anguish's Bob did get a lot of value, right? And now you'll see Funjin swap over to the Zen, maybe for that additional damage, not just additional damage, but just more of like additional shield break on the shields of Reminiscence. Because I think if you look at the support line right now, really Mercy is great for like that additional damage boost for your 2 DPS players, but the Discord really hurts, and it hurts the shield break. There's more contribution to the shield break.
Yeah, exactly. And now with these bongos going, there's going to be very few shields left at all. But Assassin Bolt able to take out Blood Hungry. Choi Su-won, though, with a huge 4K from 5K as well. Just a massive win there for Reminiscence, and now they are getting very close to winning this map.
MI7 seems to not have an answer to how Choi Su-won is using his fluxes, right? And I think in that case, MI7 needs to rethink how they want to deal with the fluxes when they don't have the key ultimates to deal with them.
Oh, right, and there was a key ultimate right there a moment ago. That Dragon Strike helped to stall out that cart. But now the kill's coming in again for Reminiscence. We're going to see Bob committed by Laura to try and hold on to dear life, but Assassin Bolt is down. Laura's Bob is down as well. They have to back off, and that's going to be it. Reminiscence takes the lead at 2-1.
Reminiscence taking the lead 2-1, and I'll be honest, from the start that was a compositional difference more than anything, right?
Yeah.
MI7 stuck to that Reinhardt composition for far too long. By the time they made those swaps to attempt to deal with the Reminiscence double shield, the card was halfway through second point. There really isn't much of a fight you can put up. Not really much ults you have also on the board, so it was a struggle for them. And I think the team needs to rethink how they want to play Reinhardt compositions into a double shield, right? If you have a teammate who really is just proficient in Rein, and then you're going up against double shield, which is like the normal counter to your Reinhardt compositions, right? You want to at least have a game plan of how you're going to engage into the double shield composition as a Reinhardt. There has to be some way you close distance besides the Lucio. It could be through a Symmetra. Change up your compositions a bit, or change up how you also want to do your flanks, because as I say, double shield, they only tend to they want to look at one direction at the same time to melt down a target. If you have someone flanking from the back, it distracts like a portion of the team.
Yeah, that it does. That it certainly does. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think MI7 really shot themselves on the foot with that compositional choice. But they're only down one map. We still have plenty more Overwatch, plenty more gameplay for you. But we're going to take a short break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Was I moved by lust? Was I moved by faith? The truth has a way of finding the light or changing in time. Did I fall in love? Did I make it up inside my mind?
Reminiscence is an appropriate name for the team in the lead, as their Org has taken the other two preseason finals. They're on their way to do it again right now, as they are up 1 over MI7, who is trying to make this underdog story come to fruition. Welcome back, everybody. If you're just joining us, my name, Warren Jungle God Hammond, joined on the mic by Thoria Maya. How did you enjoy your break?
I enjoyed my break pretty well. Took a breather, got myself some coffee, and well, like our producer said, you know, it's not coffee from Route 66, thank goodness, because that is where we are headed for our map 4 for this preseason finals.
Absolutely, and word on the street is the coffee there tastes like dirt, so I'm happy that you've got coffee from somewhere else. So, Route 66, another map where we could see Double Shield come to play on defense. Throw that Arissa on top of Big Earls and say see you later to whoever tries to turn that corner.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. A lot of people have been playing Double Shield on a Route 66 defense, usually with a expected Brigitte as that main support in tandem, just because most teams would be expecting that ball dive or a monkey dive coming from the enemy team, right? The real question really when it comes to attacking Route 66 into a double shield composition with a lot of spam, I'm really expecting a Torb to come out here, right? Is how does the core rotate the map on attack in order to not only avoid the spam damage incoming on main, but also to clear out the usual location where the turret is located, which happens to be that, you know, tiny bridge on like walkway on like the side, right?
Right.
And that's where I think I've seen like a lot of teams struggle, right? That's why they say like taking that high ground tunnel is such a key part in dealing with any Route 66 rotation. But you know, some teams could be maybe a bit funky, might try something new, who knows, maybe it would work. I wouldn't be surprised if some teams just ultimately run the mirror of double shield versus double shield, like double shield on Route 66 attack. I don't think it's a bad idea.
Right.
Especially if you're expecting that much poke damage also. Then it just becomes really a poke war. Honestly, I'm not sure what MI7 is going to run. I'm pretty sure at least on the defense, Reminiscence is going to still run that double shield because it has been working to their favor, right? The past 2 maps that they have won has been because they've been sticking to their bread and butter, which has been this double shield composition. So for those playing in Discord tier, wondering, hey, what am I supposed to be expecting from Reminiscence? Well, they look very clean in the double shield. So if things go messy for them on any other composition, I wouldn't be surprised if they default back to double shield just because they look so at home with it.
They really, really do. But that could be a double-edged sword as well, because if MI7 at some point is able to figure out how exactly to counter this double shield, then they're out their strongest look, right? And that could put them in a very tough position moving forward. But at least for the moment, Reminiscence is going strong with that double shield, and I was honestly hoping to see a ball composition come out from MI7 because I think they can be so powerful in disrupting whatever is going on top of Big Earls.
You know, I would actually have laughed if Fungin actually stuck with this Lucio, because like I'm just like figuring out how MI7 would run this composition if they had a Lucio instead of a Brigitte. But no, Fungin decides to actually show what MI7 plans to run, and it is a ball composition. Now, running into this big spammy composition, right? And you know that when a ball attempts to engage, like there's going to be a lot of CCs onto him, especially if he goes straight to the high ground, especially from the bashes or the whip shots from Try. A lot of this is really going to be just MI7 capitalizing on any opening that B-Ballman makes for them.
We are about to find out as it looks like B-Ballman is ready to go in and Reminiscence already with a couple of big picks. The entire backline is gone, so that's just going to be a reset.
Yeah, and you could see how Reminiscence is trying to play this, right? You leave your Torb and your Sigma on this walkway high ground because you know that's where the core wants to rotate to avoid as much spam as possible from main. But like trying to dislodge a Sig and a Torb in that area who are very tanky, right? Torb with his overload becomes very tanky. It is a challenge, and those pulls are just gonna disrupt any of their rotations. So we'll see how they try to push through this with Fungin already falling very low.
Yeah, this is MI7 caught in a very bad position because all Reminiscence has to do is spam down that heart rate and get kills onto players like Laurer, who is just now at the point where they can start to rejoin the fight. They have opted to go over to the Hanzo, but in the meantime, we've got a pair of kills on the playing field as well. Reborn is gone, but again, the support line for MI7 has been deleted.
I really think Fungin shouldn't have pushed his luck there, right? Reminiscence still full up. He was barely had any HP left. He really shouldn't have pushed out into like all that spam. And as you said, there are compositional player hero swaps, at least on the side of MI7 with Laura going on the Hanzo for that extra shield break, right? The only thing you're foregoing there is really like the dynamite, the bomb you can build from like big dynamites, right? But Ascent also switching to this Genji, which I think works really well if you can actually tandem it right with your ball dives.
Yeah, it really can. You could just dash through a dive and get a kill potentially. We're gonna see Ascend is out of the fight though, so no chance of that happening. Choice you want pops the Gravitic Flux, which has been so crucial in so many fights before. Rocket just a hair late with that Transcendence to save Assassin Bolt.
Yeah, you see some trades coming out. At least MI7 acknowledging that the turret is what hurts them, but they really haven't dislodged Choice who won from this high ground. And honestly, right now, Choice is just doing so much of the lead work for Reminiscence that I think as much as we'd like to remove that Torb turret because it makes the dive so much harder to do, I think they might need to figure out also how to deal with burning the cooldowns of Choice who won over here, right? How do you make him more vulnerable?
Exactly, because if they stay in the fight, they're going to find value. That's just been the case every single time we've seen them go in. Laurer does get a pair with the Dragon Strike, finds a third on the Seraph, so MI7 will be able to capture this point, but it took them a long time and they spent a lot for it.
Choice who won's gonna be staggered over here, and I think that's a really good stagger on the side of MI7, right? Almost everyone on Reminiscence should have the closer spawns except for Choice. So either Reminiscence is forced to decide whether to play in that high ground without their Sigma, or give some space in order for Choi to come back, because that's less CC for Reminiscence to deal with the dive comp that's coming in the form of B-Ballman and Assassin Ball, who has changed, by the way. Assassin was initially on Sigma and switched to D.Va. I guess understanding that the spam is really such a problem and the shield really isn't enough. B-Ballman does fall right away to Reborn.
And Blood Hungry has popped the supercharger as well, so Reminiscence has this point on lockdown. Everybody just ducking for cover as quick as they can to stay out of the way of this damage, but the DPS of MI7 wasn't able to do that.
Hopefully Assassin manages to get out. Yes, he does. It wouldn't work in MI7's favor if Assassin gets demeched while trying to get out. Now, MI7 is coming in with those Mines and Dragons, right? And I think if comboed together, knowing where you want to like throw them, you could actually use both at the same time to like force Reminiscence into a tight corner.
Oh, and that looks to have happened, at least to Seraph. Fungin will find another one, and MI7 is coming back strong in this, and it looks to me as though they might have started to figure out a little bit of what they need to do against Reminiscence.
Yeah, it looks like they figured out what to do. If they're planning to... Ooh, that's a good pick from
Wow.
the Cheeto. But I think MI7 understand that as much as you'd want to run the quote-unquote traditional concept of a ball composition, it's not going to work because of the amount of spam and how squishy targets like Tracer and Sombra are, right? And this is just clean up from... So going for that Hanzo Soldier for the extra shield break has been working in their favor, and I think that's one of the changes they also did when Reminiscence also tried to run something similar. I think back in Busan, I think was the case. But coming into this next fight, they really only have the visor on the side of MI7, but they should build to the rest of the ultimate fight. On Reminiscence side, they should be at least they don't have the flux. MI7 should be at least comfortable that nothing's going to ultimately kill them right away.
Right. They're gonna continue to push though, because Glitch has a pick onto Rocket already. Sen pops the attack visor to see if they can find something, but everybody ducks for cover. B-Ball Man has the mines just about ready to go. Needs to find a little bit more health. Looks like they were going up for a swing onto Choice Yuan, who does get picked. Lore are able to take them out after B-Ball gets them out of position, and now they're just gonna roll through the rest of Reminiscence. Get that immortality field out as well for the Dragon Strike to go through. Doesn't get a kill, but this self-destruct looks primed to do just that instead. Finding Glitch, who just before that got Fungin. Rocket pops the Transcendence, but now they're down to about half health as Blood Hungry has found a pick on the B-Ball main. Overtime has started to tick over. There's nobody hardly left on site. Desperately, it's going to be Assassinable trying to touch Ascend as well, but that's going to do it. That will be as far as that one gets.
Honestly, MI7 with the ult set they have might have actually been able to cap that. I feel like there was this level of miscommunication to an extent of which ults to use to engage into that fight. Because the bomb was a really good idea, right? You aggressive bomb because you've noticed that they already had dropped Lamp. There is also Bongo. The bomb would easily destroy Bongo as well. The bomb would easily destroy Bongo as long as Oris has no more shield, right? They've lost, like, I think one key player. I just think the rotation of the other ults alongside it might have been not, I guess, at the best time, not really in sync. So what ended up happening is that when Reminiscence just re-aggresses with their set of ults, MI7 really doesn't have an answer to it. I mean, they could have had mines, but like I think B-Ball Man just probably held on to that for too long. I honestly was expecting, rather than, I think they rallied in, rather than rallying in right away, they probably should have forced out more resources from Reminiscence, maybe through those mines. Especially when they got all clustered in that open area by the door to third. But now it's time for Reminiscence to attack, and this is the first time we are seeing something different from them. Now, I don't know if Choice One is actually sticking to this Reinhardt, but, you know, no, okay, there we go.
Okay,
but
yeah.
the standard dive from Reminiscence, this is something new for them, and MI7 still going for the ball composition, except with a Pharah. So, this is the first time we've seen a Pharah today, and I wonder how much value Ascend's gonna be getting, considering how much, hit scan values Sarif has been getting this whole day, right? 3k noobs on Anubis, crucial picks early on, so we'll see. Oh, that's a good kill from Rocket and Lure.
That certainly is. Tribe will get the res though, so Reborn is back in the fight, back in the equation, and that could definitely be a Soren in a sense side, but right now we're not seeing either of the aerial players dueling with each other just yet. They seem to be more so focused on the players on the ground on the opposite side. Lure finds another one, but in the meantime, Reborn finds one as well. Glitch just barely escaping with their life. A little bit of miscommunication there allows them to get out of the way. B-Ball Man has been rezzed as well, but this cart has almost made it around the second corner of Big Earls.
Rez is burned on both sides now, so no reses for the next fight. There's a huge anti onto Choi, so what if they can get that B-Mech onto Choi? Honestly makes their life so much easier for Ascend, right? Aside really
Right.
not getting much value right now compared to Reborn, just based on the ult charges we're seeing on the board.
You're absolutely right. And Reborn now just on an absolute tear after they get a couple of picks. The snowballing has started to occur. Ascent is going to try and stick it around as long as they can, but they're taking a lot of focus fire from excuse me, from Reborn, who briefly goes over to Afara before getting picked back out into their normal Echo form. Just a meter left to go before Reminiscence captures this first point. That is
This is a lot of the staggered fights, right? And I don't know if this is gonna work in the favor of MI7. That last skill onto Funjin and Assassin means that they just get longer spawns. They really won't have anything holding up the first point, and that might just spell trouble for them considering where the point ended for Reminiscence. Rocket really is not gonna have any peel. Only Beamwald Man would be there to help him peel, but like a ball being your source of peel isn't really that effective. So
No.
so
No.
Rocket needs just to play his life a bit more, but there is a barrage incoming.
That there is. Ascend tries for a hero play, but unable to pick off the Mercy. They proved a little bit too slippery. Blood Hungry finds another pick as well, and Reminiscence just continues to push this card forward. MI7 is putting up a defense, but they're not letting the cart stop, or they're not stopping it from moving, rather.
I think, I'll be honest, it feels like MI7 is kind of like crumbling at the pressure a bit. Or at least how it's either that or, I don't know, maybe, just maybe. No, I'm not going to cast her curses right now, but we'll see how this turns out. But I think Reminiscence probably just has a better understanding of how to play these Halo D maps. Or like, maps with, you know, going through a path objective. But this is really just cleanup now by the end for Reminiscence, right? That those mines on the point just ultimately seals the deal for them.
It really, really does. That's gonna be Reminiscence taking a third map, taking us to match a point here, Thorium Maya. Just one more separating them from completing this hat trick for their organization.
Yeah, one more, like, if they can win, if they can close it out on this next map, that would be great for them. But I think what I'm seeing, and maybe that's why they seem to be getting value, at least Reminiscence is, right? They have such a great understanding of these map types that have moving objectives, but also like set positions where you should be playing, where you would like to play, right? And then really hone in and focus on keeping that position, right? And then just starting to reposition as they need to give up like certain areas, right? There's this really good understanding of where to position, where to reposition, and how to reaggress to a position that they want. And I think that's what they've been showing all throughout these maps. Like that's why they've done well at least in 2CP, why they've done well in Hybrid, and why they've also done well in Escort. They just know where to position, how to defend it, and when to give up the point to get a quote-unquote better position, right? MI7 not really showing that much finesse, right? But what MI7 does show is their ability to be flexible, right? To adjust, or at least their DPS line seems to have an understanding of when to swap heroes to at least help the team get better value. And I think in maps like Koth, where there really is no set position because it's chaos. King of the Hill is always a chaos map. There really is no set, like there is set starting positions, but like where to position as a reposition as a fight is ongoing. Very mishmash mix. It really, anything could happen. And I think that might actually be where MI7 thrives, just because maybe Reminiscence isn't as good at it because there really isn't quote-unquote set positions. Or the moment you lose a set position, where do you reposition to? It's so much harder to like think of these things in Koth maps. But we'll see if maybe if my theory is right or wrong in this next map.
We certainly will, because this, I think, is a great opportunity for MI7 to come back in this, since we will be headed back to a Koth map. So, you know, my mind has to think, like, okay, they want to recreate some of the success they had on Busan. Where does that mean they go, right? You know, what was it about Busan that allowed them to take a map off of Reminiscence? They need to find that again, and it looks like they think the answer is going to be an Oasis.
I mean, I personally think Oasis, if there's anything cut and dry in Oasis, it's really what teams normally run on University. I feel like that's the most cut and dry out of all of it. But
Yeah.
the rest is like, anything could happen. I know City Center, you've had people run 6-man, you've had people run even Brawl, you've had people run ball comps. It's really just anything under the sun. Same thing goes for Gardens, so I know most people lean towards a 6-man in Gardens. I know some people still prefer going for like a ball composition or a monkey one just because they have a really decent Pharah player. It really depends on what strengths MI7 is trying to tap into, and I think what they're trying to tap into is the factor of I think their DPS pool is, their DPS line is versatile enough to make these in the moment adjustments to help the team gain success. So maybe for them, Oasis is that best place to do it. Compared to Lijiang Tower. Compared to Lijiang Tower,
Right.
I'm so sorry. I am like, as much as like Lijiang Tower is like a favorite of so many people, like I personally do not like Lijiang Tower.
Well, guilty as charged. I am a pretty big Lijiang Tower fan, as my background would suggest. But I agree with you. I think Oasis provides a lot of different opportunities for MI7 to come back in this and show us that they can, you know, potentially bring this back. They got a long way to go. 3 maps if they want to take this. But it could certainly start here. This will be someplace they can go. That's you know, it's sorry, Pratt just gave me a note. Another place they can go that's very flexible, right? It allows them to do a whole lot. It allows them to be able to make those proactive swaps on the DPS like they like to do. Reminiscence going to take early control of this high ground, though. Overpoint actually rotate all the way around to the other side of the map. They seem to really like this kind of a play, but B-Ball Man has started to meet them at an off angle, trying to get in a little bit of chip damage, but takes more themselves and is forced to back off into a better position as well. Point has unlocked at MI7, looking to cap it really quick, but somebody from Reminiscence has dropped down. That's going to be a beautiful charge coming out from Blood Hungry, finding both supports again of MI7. They have got to find a way to protect them, otherwise this is going to be over in short order.
Yeah. MI7, I think their support line, upon seeing what kind of composition that Reminiscence wants to run, has to be constantly on the move, right?
Right.
If there's the one thing about running into a brawl comp is, you know, they're just gonna speed onto you when given the chance. So like you saw how Reminiscence tried to flip the point onto MI7. So like the new positioning of MI7 at the start was really good. Like I liked how Fungin and Rocket just went straight to the enemy side and decided to stay there.
Right.
But the moment they saw the Reinhardt try to take high ground, they should have rotated out very quickly, right? It's kind of like a guessing game, and that's a really good hack of B-Ball Man.
That really is. He's still able to manage to get the kill with some of the help from Ascend, but Choice One isn't going to say it's over yet. It's now a 3v3 on point. Assassin Bolt looks to be taking the short end of the stick here, down to just less than 50 HP, but nobody seems to be shooting them at the moment, so they're still in their mech somehow. It's going to be a pair of kills coming out for each side. Eventually, Ascend goes down as well. We do get a self-destruct from Choice One. That's going to allow them practically to re-mech Assassin Bolt out of the fight, but the point has stayed in Reminiscence's favor this entire time.
Well, Reminiscence did have to expend that bomb, right? I think that was a bomb to remake setup. So we're going to be seeing a lot of ults incoming this next fight, and it's the value of these EMPs that we need to see. I think the issue right now with MI7 is that B-Ball Man seems to be wanting to engage with a slam, but just gets cut off by the hack from Reborn.
We're gonna see a shatter come in. EMPs activated on both sides. 3 players hacked from MI7, but Rocket is there with the transcendence to keep them up, to keep them alive. Reborn getting a taste of their own medicine, finds themselves hacked. A nice minefield coming out from B-Ball Man, but doesn't get the slam that they were looking for to keep the other team in those mines. So nobody really takes much damage except for Choice Wan, who now needs to get back in mech. But we've got 97% on the board. MI7 finally starting to get a few kills, a little bit of an advantage. They will be able to flip this point as long as they stay on it, and they do.
I saw Rocket over there thinking it was Overwatch 2 and tried to melee try. I would have laughed if that he actually fell off map, by the way. But like, no, this isn't Overwatch 2. I do really want that kick from Overwatch 2.
Right?
I feel like as a Zen player myself, I really would want it. So it's also just me projecting. But now, because Pete extended that fight, Ascend has a free blade here right now. Nothing to counter it unless Sarah builds towards his high noon right away to zone him.
They're 93% of the way there, so it's possible, but Ascent has already sliced through 2 players. Rocket finds a third. Choice One says, I'm out of here after their mech is taken care of. And B-Ball Man finds the next one. So 40% on the board now for MI7. They only have to do this a couple more times.
Yeah, and you know, B-Ball Man building towards that. Well, Lore is already very close to EMP compared to Reborn, right? They should have EMP very good fight-winning ult, right? Especially now that Reminiscence just really has this high noon, right? You could EMP this high noon if you're really desperate, because you really can't get flashed through it, right?
Right.
Oh, that was so close.
Yeah, Sarif not going to be able to get anything. Reminiscence going down. Sarif almost gets taken off the map, but lands on the health pack and is able to find value there still. Beautiful play coming out from them. Reminiscence starting to get control of this fight again. They've got point now. They just have to finish capping it. Overtime triggered. There's 1 player remaining. That's going to be Assassin Bolt D-Max. I don't think anybody else is getting back there. Reminiscence is just going to be a breath away, a hair's breadth away from taking this preseason final. Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it looks like MI7's getting a fighting chance, especially with those mines on point from D-Ball Man and the rally from Fudgen. So they could actually sustain through this because Reminiscence don't really have any other ults to like counter this huge rally from Fudgen. And Fudgen is just raid bombing on the point. Like, someone just had to touch B-Ball Man touches at the perfect time, totally ignoring that Blood Hungry was blocking his way. He's like, nah, I'm ramming through this, dropping mines on point, and they force off beat early because Blood Hungry was really low and they just rally in, get so much value. And coming to this next fight, Reminiscence really doesn't have anything. Maybe this high noon if Sarif can build towards it. But you know Reborn's going to touch with this Tracer. So
yeah, they're gonna try to. They're meeting some resistance right at the end. They do manage to get on point and proc overtime. We're gonna see Glitch's Immortality Field already used. That's out of the equation. Choice One has been demeched as well. But Assassin Bolt able to find a pick onto Sarif. Choice One not looking long for this world as well. MI7, I owe you a huge apology because you have brought this back and taken this first sub-map and made me eat my words, but more importantly, given yourselves a little bit of an edge.
Oh, definitely. That 99-100 cap percentage on both sides really shows how close this match is. MI7 really with that really big clutch at the end. Very huge rally from Fudgen, really well-timed recontest from B-Ball Man and usage of mines, right? So MI7 playing, their cards well that one fight. Now coming into University, as you could see, your very standard brawl setup already looking like it on both sides. Blood Hungry and B-Ball Man both locking the Reinhardt, and really the only difference here right now seems to be nothing.
I was gonna say, yeah, they eventually swapped until there weren't any differences.
They were making so many differences, and then I was so confused. Oh no, but Sarah just went for the TP.
Wow. Yeah, Ascend taken out of the fight almost immediately. Rocket's immortality field is gone. We've got a trade now, so it's a 5v5 on point. An all-out brawl here. Function trying desperately to stay alive. Seraph has to back out just a little bit, but that means Reborn is going in instead. Put some pressure on Ballman, who has to back up off of point. Seraph going to be able to get a kill around the corner, but once again, Function finds somebody. Rocket has as well. MI7 support line working overtime right now. Reminiscence does capture the point, but there's a bit of an advantage for MI7. Assassin Bolt does go down, though, to Seraph. We're going to see a photonic barrier committed already by Lurer. They want to see if they can still win this fight. Ascend and B-Ball Man are making it happen, despite just the absolute chaos.
Just a few staggers on the point left now to get more time, but ultimately when MI7 was just up more people, that was going to turn into their favor at some point. But they did have to expand that wall, so they really don't have anything for this incoming, not only Shatter, but also the Blossom from Seraph, right? Fungit's really going to have to play their life this next fight just to, you know, get some value.
What a beautiful shatter coming in right off the bat from Blood Hungry. That's gonna wipe the floor completely clean of MI7. Just a couple stragglers remaining. They want to see how much percentage they can build. They will be in the lead after this, but probably not for too terribly long.
Not for too terribly long, and that was... See, I thought it would have been just like a cheap fight. Ult usage economy for a Reminiscence with like the shatter for Blood Hungry, but apparently Reborn also had used his ult during that fight, so probably got a Hulu and really needed to escape. I think MI7 should just kite this window right now, because that's a lot of damage through that window. Good idea to rotate from it, considering where the window was positioned, and there's this aggressive bomb that Assassin is well known for.
Pungent pops the sound barrier, though, right in the nick of time. That's going to allow them to sustain through it. We're going to see Reborn pushed out of the way pretty significantly by Pungent and Assassin Bolt. But in the meantime, Ascend has lost their life. A couple of players traded on each side. But the lion's share of the kills going in favor of MI7. 65% on the board, though, for Reminiscence. But this is looking an awful lot like what we saw last submap.
Yeah. It's looking like that. They just really need to get these staggers, and Reminiscence is really doing a good job with that stagger. Glitch wasn't even playing Lucio, yet was dodging this Reinhammer swings like they were playing Lucio. I saw like all that happen on the screen, but coming to this next fight, MI7 really only has to shatter and probably window mid-fight, right? So B-Bombman really needs to get value with this shatter, and does get value, but at what cost?
Oh my gosh, they were able to get 3 kills almost right off the bat from it. That's going to be Reminiscence backing out as quick as they can to get a regroup so that they have as much time as they can get for this last fight.
I'll be honest, that's a really interesting interaction between that shatter, because you saw Blood Hungry have their shield up. It just so happens at the best time, Ascend just uppercuts the Ryan.
We're going to see dueling amplification matrices. Rocket has to back off from the self-destruct that gets thrown out. Choi Siwon does find Ascend in the meantime, though. And now we've got the backline being chased by an angry and aggressive Lurer, but they pay for that aggression with their life. Reborn now back on the prowl. Choi Siwon has a kill as well. And this point is going to flip back over in favor of Reminiscence.
I mean, MI7 did the job, right? They flipped it to 99%. They kept it up to 99%. Really last fight territory. I wouldn't be surprised if this bomb comes in yet again from Assassin through, you know, aggressive bombing, and then they just push in with it, right? The momentum. Function has beat again. Try also has beat. So you're going to be seeing both these beats probably committed soon.
Oh my gosh, and a huge shatter right off the bat from Blood Hungry. Assassin Bolt, though, comes in with the self-destruct that manages to find Try. Choi Siwon strikes back, though, but it's a 2 kills on either side. Overtime starting to tick over. Somebody from MI7 has to touch point. Ascend gets stunned, taken out of the fight by a fire strike, but MI7 looks primed to take this point back, but now there's 4 members of Reminiscence on point, and there's only 1 remaining for MI7. Can they get anyone back? There's there's a ball on point now. They have come to the call. They have tried to stall this out as long as they can. Tracer manages to get there as well. Doesn't survive through too many hammer swings, and that will be the second sub-map. And now, Reminiscence, just one sub-map away from taking this series.
And one sub-map away from taking that, and honestly, that was very close, right? The MI7 just probably should have, I don't know, I feel like that engage, honestly, it was a good engage, especially with that bomb and like both beats coming out. I just think maybe they weren't prepared for the incoming shatter from Blood Hungry, right? And I think that's what ultimately forced out more resources from them that they wish they still had back in when they had to like contest point. Now coming out to this last map of Oasis and the third round, which could be match point, okay? Both teams are showing the ball composition. So it's really going to be a difference of who has a better understanding of how they want their core, not only their core to play, but how their ball wants to engage.
Well, we can see a pick on either side immediately. That's going to be both supports down for MI7 though, so if Reminiscence does everything right, they should be able to take this fight, and they are on track to do just that.
Yeah, Punjin dying so early really doesn't do any favors for MI7. On the case of Reminiscence, like if you lose your Sombra that early on, really your only loss is like the EMP ult charge, right? But like you can always just rebuild that easily. Compared to like losing your Brig early on, that really means you lose your sustain. It's no point in fighting, right?
Right.
So coming to this next fight, you do see Seraph already building towards this pulse bomb, and Try's already really close, and Glitch also are close to the respective support ults. Rocket's probably the only one with the close support ult on MI7 just because Punjin died early.
Exactly. Lore getting picked off as well early on doesn't help either. That's going to be another fight win for Reminiscence as MI7 elects to just back off.
Yeah, I think as much as MI7 wants to, how do I say this? As much as the core wants to get that. Oh, those are good picks.
Those are huge picks.
Those are huge picks. That means no more dive onto your supports. So like, Reminiscence is forced to brawl on point with their support ults.
Yeah, try pop the rally to try and stay alive and build up as much percentage as possible. Here comes the minefield as well from B-Ball, man. But the Transcendence was there as well. Huge self-destructs coming in. Assassin Bolt hits a little bit harder, though. It's going to be a pulse bomb committed by Serif. It's going to be a whiff. MI7 should be able to take this point as soon as they get Choi-Soo-Wan out of the equation. But Reminiscence within one fight territory of taking this entire preseason.
Yeah, but I think if you look at the ult bank for both sides, I think the fact that their Function now has rally because they died so early and weren't in sync with the other supports for their ult charge, right? They have something to at least deal with this incoming fight and like to sustain. Oh, that's a good hack on Blood Hungry, but Ascend needs to play their life.
Oh, and they don't. Reborn able to take them out. This is a huge boon for Reminiscence. They're going to try and strike as hard as they can with this EMP as soon as they find the prime opportunity. They're going to be able to capture several members. They lose their life, but they get 4. Crucially, Function is still alive, able to get another rally online, and Ascend finds a pick as well. So MI7 not out of this yet. It seems they have weathered the majority of that storm and weathered it well. But in the meantime, Reminiscence still has control over the point. They're getting up to 99%. That's going to be Rocket forced to use Transcendence as well, which is a big deal because now Reminiscence can let loose with everything that they have left remaining. It's going to be Reborn finding Ascend. B-Ball Man now dropping in the mines as well, seeing if they can put some pressure on Try, whose rally just expired. That's going to be both supports from MI7 down. This is all but over. Reminiscence will complete the trifecta for Nostalgia. They have completed the anime villain arc, and they are your Discord tier preseason Overwatch Tranquility champions.
You know, great showing from MI7. Ultimately, though, Baby just got outclassed in that last map with their understanding of how to play the ball composition. Something that, you know, hey, the nice thing about preseason is a lot of your games, like these are mistakes that could be easily fixable over the season, right? How you understand the game, easily fixable over the season. Preseason is really more of a showing of where your teams are with respect to other teams. And take note, right? Some of preseason doesn't have all the teams participating. So you still, there may be teams that are just like hiding in the bushes, like trying to refine whatever they're doing, and might actually be like dark horses, right? That could turn down this whole trifecta. So we'll see how this goes, but right now the whole nostalgia org is looking very promising into taking all the wins yet again this season. So let's see how this goes, but I'm always looking for upsets.
Yo, as am I. And I mean, I feel like this honestly sets up the season beautifully, right? Having Nostalgia coming in, taking all 3 tiers is just tremendous. I called you all the the anime villains, but no, you all are heroes. You have played this game beautifully today, so congratulations for coming in with this win, and best of luck to you moving into the regular season as well, because if you didn't have a target on your back before, you certainly do now. Everybody's gonna be gunning. Everybody's gonna be wanting to be, the team that takes down a Reminiscence or a Nostalgia org team. So this, I think, just sets up the next season of Tranquility beautifully. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped for what's gonna come next.
Yep, I'm certainly also just looking forward to what all the other teams have to offer, and if they can really topple this long established name of that's just been doing so well in Tranquility. So very exciting storyline, I guess. Like that's how we always seem to be treating this, right? These are just storylines, and somehow maybe the story is going to change and make things even more exciting, right? I think that's what we always strive to get at this from the end of the day.
Oh, absolutely. There was excitement everywhere today. MI7 did a beautiful job, almost brought it back. I mean, what a showing from them on Oasis, especially the first sub map. I mean, that was just some nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat action that they brought to us today. So thank you all. Thank you to both teams for bringing us some excellent Overwatch here today. And before we close things out here at Thori and Maya, anything you'd like to leave the audience with?
So audience says, next week is the actually official start of the Tranquility season with this final match. That means Tranquility season starts next week, which means also I think the first episode of the Iris podcast is on Monday. So stay tuned for that, because you will actually meet not only who is the new host for this season, because Mr. Yeti has relinquished host control of the Iris podcast to someone new, but you will also see who are the new analysts on the Iris podcast desk alongside him. There will be 4 rotating pairs this season, so stay tuned in each of them to see who's going to be your analyst for this season. And I'm looking forward to the one on Monday, because I know one of them has a similar namesake to me.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm excited for that as well. Now, that's gonna do it for us here, but before we go, I just want to say thank you so much to Balsi and Finiaf. I hope I pronounced your name right as well. I didn't ask you beforehand, so my apologies if I just I got it. Beautiful. Okay. So thank you both so much. Thank you for Overwatch Tranquility. You're a beautiful, wonderful org, and I'm happy to be back casting for you all. Thank you, Thori and Maya, for joining me tonight. Thank you, Luna, as well, for gracing us with your presence. If you want to find more about what I'm doing, you can find me at JuggleGod on Twitter. Thori and Maya, where can they find you?
Same thing. They can find me on Thori and Maya on Twitter. Same handle, same spelling. I think it's just a standard everywhere for me.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. That's going to do it for us today. Congratulations again to Reminiscence on a beautiful victory here in the Discord tier. GG's, and see you next time.